may call you any night, any day. In your heart, you'll hear it call you. Come away, come away. Valley high will whisper of the wind, of the sea. Here am I, your special island. Come to me, come to me. Valley high, valley high, valley high.
Oh, good morning. Welcome to my little favorite grotto here on my island, my world. It's called Guam. Guam, here in the Micronesia world, the far Pacific. I'm a remittance man. I'm an American cast up on the beach. Every month I got a check from home, from Daddy. And Daddy sends it occasionally. And it's very mean when Daddy doesn't. But life is life here. The sun comes up and the sun goes down. And the surf rolls in. Every morning I come down here and, excuse me. I'd like you to meet my friend.
Hi, I'm Stella.
This is Estella. She's my friend. May I have my breakfast? Thank you. Estella makes life a lot easier here as I come every morning down to the grotto to drink my breakfast. Native rum, a little touch of laudanum. Keeps life going. And we look out over the sea, get ready for our strenuous day of a remittance man. If you have never heard the term remittance man, it is a man who has been banished from his family due to an unspeakable gaffe that he committed in his youth. And I might add, my gaffe was unspeakable, and so it's forever here in Guam. But there are compensations, friends. They're here. Every morning I come down into my grotto and look out over my front porch. It's called the Pacific. It's the closest I'll ever get to my home. Those magnificent reefs made of the millions of tiny bodies that go to make up the ancient coral reefs of Micronesia. Each one, by the way, a remittance man in his own right. They're all scavengers. They live off the fat of somebody else's land. And here I am. What kind of life does a remittance man live? You've probably read Joseph Conrad. And God, who could forget Somerset Maugham? And Sadie Thompson. Excuse me, I didn't mean anything there by that, but Estella does make life easier here. Don't you, Estella? May I have a little drinky poo again, dear? Thank you.
Your breakfast?
Thank you, thank you. My breakfast is going well this morning. I'd like you to see a little of the life of a remittance man if you'd care to know what it's like here on the beach. Of course, like everybody else, we need the wherewithal. And that's what we live for. Every remittance man waits every day for the check to arrive from home. And the high point of my day is always with a song in my heart, with a gleam of hope in my eye. I rush to the post office in my native village, breathlessly, hoping that Daddy has sent finally again, once more, that life preserver that keeps me from being a sunken hulk on the reef of time. I approach the post office every day at the same time. Oh, you got any mail for me today?
Sorry, we don't have now.
Alas, alack-a-day. Even the children watch to see whether I got my check today. They know, and they cheer when I struck out again. The outcast of the islands. There's Fred, a friendly local water buffalo. He lives a better life than I do. At least he belongs there. Oh, you want to know my name? Well, call me Ishmael, if you care. Suffice it to say that the name of my family is one of the most respected, you would know it, one of the most respected in the United States. But I can't use it on a program of this sort. There's a born-again bird living there. And there's all kinds of love on this island. This was an exciting moment immediately after that sign appeared. Even in paradise. Yes, and this is paradise in a way. You know, all professions have their role models. I mean, for lawyers, it's Clarence Darrow, and they can see themselves out there in front of the jury with the world listening to every word. Baseball players have Mickey Mantle, but we remittance men, we have our own secret heroes. For me, it's Lord Jim. Oh, Lord Jim. I remember those deathless lines. Lord Jim's eyes peered like twin coals into the secret fastnesses of his vapid life. Isn't that wonderful? That describes the remittance man. My particular hero, though, not role model, but hero, was Charles Lawton. I remember as a kid seeing a movie in which Charles Lawton played an Englishman on the beach. I mean, he was this big, fat slob, and he was wearing flowers in his hair, and he was, well, I hate to say it, but he was drinking his breakfast out of a coconut. Ever since that time, I've thought maybe there is something to this remittance man thing, but now I've learned since that it's much deeper than that. What do we do, really, for our big moments in life? Well, here on Guam, every year I look forward to the reenactment of the landing of Ferdinand Magellan as he came ashore in my native village, which is now my native village, in the year 1521. Once a year, I go to the shore to watch them reenact that classic scene. Me and Charles Lawton, Lord Jim, and all the lost souls of eternity cast on the beaches of time. And Magellan comes in from the sea. This is the high point of the year here. People look forward 364 days of the year to this one magic moment.
Sailing where they found there is performance country land. 4 days and nights and days in 21. All right. Yeah. I'm very happy and proud because this is the land where Magellan landed. A small piece of land.
And the outcast of the islands is now roistering in the middle of the native ceremonies and celebrations. Joy is rampant.
He sails away for holy ship in 1521.
And all around the sparkling sea, the same sea that Magellan sailed.
4 days and nights and days in 21.
Oh, the beautiful mountains that provide the spine of my lovely island. Sometimes I just go down and look at those jungles. The trade winds blow, and high up on the steep ridges of these hills, the pack trains move from one end of the island to the other, as they have for thousands of years before. This is our native cemetery. Families are very important on Guam. They stay together even in death. They're buried above ground, little compartments, loving flowers, wreaths. Good night, Mama and Daddy. This is the old bridge built by the Spaniards in the 16th century. About noon, I set off across the bridge every day for one of my social moments. Man has to keep in touch with civilization. Drop in for a Coke at the last stop. It's rush hour. Ah, my friend Dennis. Yes, with his local champion. Hi, Dennis. He's raising a dark horse for next year. That'll be next year's champ. This is the Calumet Farms of Guam. Right back at the last stop. Big John, the Duke. The Japanese love him. He is a samurai to the Japanese. There's a 20-foot high statue of the Duke in front of the Japanese gun club.
You ask me why I love her? I've a million reasons why. My beautiful America, beneath God's wide, wide sky.
The gay white way of Guam. Hong Kong jewels, the new queen, the copper penny. God, some nights the social life is so overpowering that a man's head is in a whirl. Where to go tonight? What to do tonight? It's all here for everyone. There's the massage parlor. There's the massage parlor. And there's the massage parlor. There's plenty of back trouble on this island. But all us expatriates need our clubs. The British always had a club in the far-flung empire to bring a little bit of London to the wilds. And so it is with we American empire builders of the 20th century, and here is our club. The Big Mac, the quarter pounder, rising brave and clear in the tropical sunlight. 24 hours a day, the largest McDonald's in the world is here on Guam. Thank God. The Golden Arches look down on a very significant beach where in 1944, the American Marines and the American soldiers stormed ashore and thousands died. There's a Japanese field gun. Japanese anti-aircraft rifle. 40 years ago, they were blazing. One thing about islands is that they absolutely build, create, and live by legends. I mean, legends are what the people exist on. Manhattan, for example. Now, you know, Manhattan's an island, and it has a legend that there are 14-foot alligators living in the sewers. That's stupid. And they were bought by people from Miami Beach and put down into the toilets, and they grew down. That's all a legend. A legend like Paul Bunyan. And this island, too, it has its legends. For example, how many of you remember the story of the Japanese soldier who held out until 1972, who didn't know the war was over, and they caught him up in the hills down at the far end of the island? In fact, the other side of my village. It's true. He did do that. But one of the greatest legends of this island, really a stupid legend. They have a legend that there's a GI, an American GI, who doesn't know the war is over. And not only that, he's in the Signal Corps. How's that? I was in the Signal Corps myself, but that wouldn't surprise me about a Signal Corps soldier. They never know when the war was over. But nevertheless, this sergeant in the Signal Corps, this is the legend, of course. Down at the Hubba Hubba Bar, which is right on Marine Drive here, almost every night you hear them tell this story, that in the hills there's an American GI, Sergeant Cletus Wepp of Harlan County, Kentucky. And he doesn't know the war is over. And he's wearing captured Japanese uniforms. And he's living out there in the woods. And he's occasionally found by the legend. He lives by stolen chickens. And he's waiting to hear from his company commander to tell him to come in from his solitary patrol. And every night he listens to his walkie-talkie. And they can hear him at night grinding his generator to listen to his walkie-talkie, waiting for the signal to say, your patrol is over, Sergeant Wapp, come in. And some say that he believes the war is over, but the Japanese won. He sees tourists coming ashore, but he believes that one day he'll get the call and that the American GIs will storm ashore and retake the island.
Long ago in 44, Sergeant Wapp, he stole...
And the legend holds that late at night he stalks the lonely beaches on guard against patrol craft and marauding Japanese, forever patrolling his beach.
The war is history of long ago, but Sergeant Wapp fights on and on.
Every Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon, I come to a far point that is the closest to my homeland of all the island. Oh, and stare out to sea towards my lovely, lovely Windy City, which I will never see again. Oh, my Chicago. Oh, my White Sox. Oh, my Tribune Tower. My Wrigley Building. Oh, oh. My life of shame as a remittance man began innocently enough. I attended a wonderful performance of Peaches Browning's all-girl Polynesian Boom Boom Review. It so happened that it was the night that I was to be announced officially as the affianced future husband of Chicago's most illustrious and most famous debutante. Nancy was her name, a member of Chicago's most famous meatpacking family. Well, while I attended that review, I fell under the spell of Bubbles LaVere, a leggy Corrine, a magnificent Polynesian beauty from Queens. Well, that night of shameless passion, that night of untold ecstasies, has led me to this life on the far-cast shores of one of America's most remote outposts. And I can only say, if Bubbles LaVere is watching tonight anywhere in the world, I hope that that night of ecstasy and passion, that night of, well, true emotion, still remains with you, Bubbles. And Bubbles, I remember you wherever you are. And someday, maybe we'll meet again. And you'll be performing in Peaches Browning's Polynesian Boom Boom Heavenly Review. And we shall meet, Bubbles.
Yes, my weakness, my Achilles heel, is the winsome eye. Oh, the rosebud mouth. And the lovely rounded cheek of those of the feminine gender. I can't stay away from them. But every night I dream. I have this terrible dream where I see myself going into some mysterious building, and suddenly I'm in an airline terminal. And there's a man waving a ticket at me. And I approach him, my arms in supplication. He waves, he smiles. Oh, this dream is terrible. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. He shakes my hand. I see it every night. It's been 30 years he's been doing this. One way, Chicago. Chicago. And then I wake up. I'm sweating. And it takes me 2 or 3 hours to get back to sleep. Oh, but there are some beautiful places here on this island of Guam. The Blue Lagoon. The water so crystal clear that you can read a beer can, the label, the ingredients at 40 feet, down on the bottom. And you know, we have our own little Statue of Liberty. Yes, and thousands of Japanese come to have their pictures taken by it. And I have come to believe that the T-shirt is literally the symbol of our century. Yes, first there was the Stone Age, then the Bronze Age, and then the Iron Age. Today, we are living in the T-shirt age. Oh yeah, Guam is pure sensuality. Great surfs rolling in. Warm sun, breezes blow night and day. The worst looking bar in the Pacific, the Hitching Post, absolutely the worst. I should show you this. This is a house, one house. He's covered every inch of his yard. Beer cans, shells, any conceivable piece of junk that turns out to be a crazy, strange, wonderful Walt Disney world of colorful madness.
So another beautiful day ends here on Guam and in my life. You can hear my native friends who come down to the beach to have their nightly dip. They're enjoying themselves. And I guess we're all enjoying ourselves in this life as best we can. Out there, just a few miles, is the Marianas Trench. 37,000 feet deep, the deepest part of the ocean, the abyss. Just like my life, the abyss. And we've introduced you to another new and fascinating occupation you may like to try if you have the opportunity. Remittance man. It's a growing American thing. But remember to say one thing as you leave the country: Daddy, keep them coming. And Daddy, you better keep them coming. And tonight, when you go to bed, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Provo, Utah, San Diego, California, breathe a silent prayer for this poor, solitary remittance man cast up on the beach here at Guam. One more thing. Just keep in mind that out here in the far Pacific, a whole day removed from life, thousands of miles from your home, there is a tiny island, a tiny bit of soil that is forever America. And if you will, forever Chicago. Hail and farewell. Good night. May the trade winds blow forever in your life. Ah, my island, my Pacific.
More fun tomorrow evening when Juliet Prowse hosts the World Professional Ballroom Dance Championships. It's a thrilling spectator sport and it starts at 9 tomorrow night. Now stay tuned for a review of the world of Dr. James Duke on Lifeline, next on viewer-supported Channel 33.